Hello. I'm just gonna explain it like if I were explaining it to you, my lovely wife, who is doing the camera work. This is nothing official. It's just to kind of give everyone the basics on how to do a box frame for your pour paints. It's pretty simple. You can look at the table now. This is a 4 by 1 inch. This is kind of what we're going for right now. I save this as a template so I don't have to mess with heights of the blade every time. I just match this up and go from there. I like them 1.5 inches. I don't know, it's just personal preference. This is what's going to be against the wall, and this is what's going to cover the edge of your frame. Okay, this is cut backwards, by the way. We'll get to that. But so this is 1.5 inches. So you take your 1.5 inches. We go like 1.5 inches. Come in a little bit. That looks pretty good. That's about 1.5 inches. That's why I have the template. Now let's see. See, it fits in there. I'll raise the blade up because I'm going to rip this piece into 1.5 inch wide pieces. And the first one's the most dangerous cut because the blade is actually coming through the board. But I have that blade just barely come through, so it doesn't make a whole lot of ripping edges. It's just enough to cut the board. Lock down my fence. And we'll spare you the howl of the machine, and I'll just show you my end product. And this is what we came up with. You can see it from the end. So now our next step is to take this piece out. So you'd be running it along here. Now I have this guide, but essentially you want your tip of your saw blade to just barely touch this opening. You can check it out from the side again. So we'll raise it up. When I do these, I usually do, 30, 40 feet, just so I don't have to keep messing around with, moving the blade and all that. So I'm going to get that right up next to it so I can see. And that's the highest point of the blade. I can come up just a hair, but right when it enters that opening is where you want to stop your blade. Right about there. You go too far, this face is going to be too flimsy. About there, and it honestly, that little thin part that you see there, it'll tear out just like a piece of paper. So, try it. Okay, now we have these two pieces. They're 1.5 inches. It's pine, so they're not it's not the best wood to use because it kind of bends and warps. But anyways, the next thing we're trying to get is the face, so which would be this. So you're going to set your blade to where it stops there, and with this you can do it by looking from the side and lower your blade, and we want about in the middle, about halfway. Once you've done this, you save a piece. You save this piece. So you can just do a quick reference if you like the way your frame turned out. You can do a quick reference. So that looks pretty good. I think I might have it a hair high. So I'll come down just a skosh. If I start talking with a Minnesota accent, it's just because when I'm doing woodworking, it's kind of fun. So what you're trying to get is that edge there. So you're looking at your blade, you're adjusting your fence. Oops, sorry about that. that look about right to you from over there?
I think so.
Yeah. So now you lock this down, and now you rip that line through. And we'll be right back. Okay, now we got the blade the height we want. We're going to adjust this fence, gate, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Where this line matches up. The blade matches up with this line. How's it look to you?
Yeah.
It's always good to have another set of eyes. Thank you, Rissa. And away we go. These to be, that's the face. You're not recording, are you?
Yes.
Okay. This is the face. So, just a point of reference. I don't know why that's on there. Just a point of reference. We're gonna do the one side. Your miter saw. This is a Harbor Freight. It's nothing special. But it's got the little degrees along here, so, and there's an arrow, and most of them, even the older ones have it. So we'll go 45 degrees. I have this light. See that little shadow? It puts a shadow where my cut's going to be. All right. Now we're doing these for 12 by 12 frames. 12 by 12 canvases rather, and are you want to record that?
Yeah, I'm recording.
So I'm gonna button these two. I'm using the same one every time, but instead of measuring every time, I'm using the same one for each cut. You make the first cut, and of course then you make the final. The one you're measuring. And I'm sorry if I'm overcomplicating this because it really isn't that difficult. So we're doing these for both 12 by 12 canvases. And I don't know if you can see that there. That's going to be where your canvas lands, right in this corner. And I measured this, so it's exactly 12 inches, this canvas, from corner to corner. And so when you're making the measurement 12 inches here, I'm going to go about a quarter inch longer. So it'll be 12 1/4 from this inside pocket right here down here, wherever your 12 1/4 inch is. And we'll measure that. I'll go an inch past. This thing's got such small lines on it, it's so hard. So roughly, let's say, I can't see because I don't have my glasses on. There's 12. Alright. So I cut this edge there. Instead of flipping it this way and making things difficult, I just bring my miter saw all the way back over to 45 on this side. Because you're going to want your, that's 12 1/4. I'm going to tell you what I like to do is make it just a hair longer. You know, about a quarter inch longer. Get your canvas and actually physically put it on there and see, you know, like, oh, I just need to take like 1/8 of an inch off. Or my measurement was terrible, and I actually am glad I added that quarter inch. So here it is. What it'll look like in the back. This one was all the way butted into the corner. So look how much distance we have. About that far. That's the corner, but I'm only going to take a little bit off, like that much, 1/4 inch roughly. So once I get one of these made, I like to put stops up, and then I can mass produce them. If you don't know what that means, I'll explain it in a minute. So I'm gonna take that. It's kind of hard to put a stop, but you can get something to where you just go, put your wood on there, take a wood clamp or something, and just slap it in there, 12 inches every time. It's a lot easier with 90 degree straight, or 0 degree, whatever, straight cuts. So here's my canvas. I already made another one of these earlier. So now it's starting to come together, isn't it? It's starting to look like a frame. And I like to do this as well. Yeah, those are right on the button. They are the exact same length. So that's what you're trying. So once you get the one, I mean, it's pine, so it's kind of warping. It's kind of ticking me off, but you know, what are you gonna do? Right? Yep. There you go. That's just a black line on there. Okay, so I'm going to make the rest of these, and then I'll show you how to assemble it. Kind of hard to see because my hands are covering everything. Just kind of leave her, snug it up. Get her snug, and then you can make your adjustments. See how it's all out of whack here. If this video helps one person, I'll be happy. Maybe it'll help me. Let's see how I'm messing crap up. See, there's two. Now you got this 90-degree angle. It's pretty awesome. Then you just put your last two on, and it keeps everything true. I didn't slap any glue on there yet, just because, you know, I'm rushing through this video. So I didn't put any glue on there, but you just put like a little drop of glue. I usually do. Otherwise, you take your brad nailer. These things are awesome. You can fumble around and try and hold it into place and then hit your brad nailer, and it usually, you know, something moves on you. And so all this work you've done, now you have a hole, you know, in the side, which got a little woodworker's trick for you. After you shoot your brad nails in, there's going to be this little tiny hole that you can see. And what I do is I take some wood glue and some really fine sawdust and make it into like a paste. And there you go. You got some wood filler, and you can sand it. You just fill the little hole. Kind of cool. So I kind of did a little test at the beginning, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute, that's too thin. So I made an adjustment to where this was a little wider. That's why I'm like preaching this template. Once you get, you can start with a small piece of wood until you get something to where everything's thick enough, because you're going to actually either be gluing this or brad nailing it to the other frame. It'll make sense in a minute. So I got it way too thin here. Just a little tester. I just ran it in a little bit just to check. That's not going to work because I'm not going to have anything to nail to. So I went about a blade's width to where I got it to where I wanted it. But honestly, make yourself a template. Just put this off to the side whenever you want to do your, you know, because that's going to be thick. It's the width I like. You can make it 4 inches if you want your painting to stick off the wall that far. But so now what we do is we go to our miter saw. We're going to cut angles inward. With the pencil, I can show you a little easier.
What degree angles?
45 degrees, because your corners are going to be 90. 45, 90. 45 and 45 equals 90. But you want your, this is going to be the face. This is what's going to be sticking out from the wall. This will be up against the wall. So this is your face. When you make 4 12-inchers, you'll have yourself a frame. Okay, are you ready? Yep. Alright, folks. I've got 4 of these cut. I'm just double checking one more time on my canvas. It's about a 1/4 inch bigger than the canvas, which is fine. You won't be able to see the edges from the front. So I double checked everything. Everything lines up. And I got these handy dandy little things which go in the corners. And they'll make you a corner. If you decide to glue. Okay? If you want to glue them, if you're going to spray paint them, whatever, I usually use a little bit of glue and then a brad nailer. Brad nailer, about an inch. What do I usually use? Like 3/4 inch. Little 16 or 18 gauge brads. If you have a brad nailer, and you would shoot your brad right here, where it's gonna, like one here, right on the edge, but not where you're gonna shoot out the side this way. I guess it does take a little bit of practice, but it really is. If you overcomplicate it, you can make it way harder than it actually is. It's just wood, and you're making it work for you. See that? There you got yourself a box frame. Look at that. And everything lines up once you see. I'm on my tool bench here and nothing's level. I got everything just beat to hell there. So yeah, if there's anything else you need to know, I got these at one of the like Home Depots or Menards. I think it was Menards. They don't probably have them everywhere, but they were in this like little cheap tool bin thing, and I'm like, wow, that's really cool. There's your 245s. They come together, and you put it in there, and you can adjust it. You can adjust it and then glue it, push it together, let it set overnight, and it'll hold it in place. It's pretty awesome, and you can do all 4 of them, or you can do 2 at once. I usually just stick them in there and then shoot my brad nailer. Have a little bit of glue on there. If you want me to show you how to do it, I will. Pause. Okay, I decided to put them on the face of the box frame because it tightens up these seams a lot better. If you do it on the back, it kind of spreads it out a little bit. So, and you can also put your picture in there. All right. It is a little big, but you can still see when it is just a hair big, which is fine. It's better than too small. When you go to put it in there permanently, I take little carpenter finishing nails and tap them in to keep the picture from sliding around. And then there's, you know, hanger frames, these little eyelet screws that you can screw in here. Put a piece of wire across, and you can hang it. So, plenty of options. I hope everyone enjoyed it. If you want me to show you how to do the brad nailer, I just let me know, and I will. It's but with these little corner vise things are super handy. So if you can find them, get them. You can use them for more than just frames. Anytime you need to make my wife always has me building shelves and, you know, little things like that, and they help a lot. So, anyways, Happy New Year.